former collegiate athlete at the University of Michigan. I am a first-round draft pick by the Indianapolis Colts in 2005. I'm a Super Bowl champion. I'm also a father, a husband, a social entrepreneur, the founder of a nonprofit agency, and now co-founder of Pulse Analytics. I wanted to record this video to share some of my perspective on life, my outlook, my experiences. The work that we're getting ready to embark upon with Pulse Analytics and bringing transparency and accountability to policing is a very crucial and integral part of moving forward in the future of America and what we want to see as citizens, what we want as people, as human beings. And as a Black man, as you can see, the color of my skin, the melanin, so much of it. So often in my life, it's led to presumptions of guilt for me and those that look like me. And this brings about frustration with the system, with policing, because of the presumed guilt and the lack of protecting and serving that we see. It's perception for some, but it's reality for others. It's been my reality. It's what I've seen. So when I see the videos of another Black man shot, of excessive force from an officer, I understand firsthand because I'm Black, because I'm a Black man. And the Black man is one of the, I would say, most feared beings on the planet. Presumed to be a threat, presumed to be guilty. And I believe this is why we see excessive force. This is why we see people murdered, innocent people murdered in the streets at the hand of officers. There's always, in any situation, more to the story. And we see within Black and brown communities, the same circumstances continue to prevail. Lives taken because they were presumed guilty. The protecting and serving that is associated with policing seems to be lost on the African American community, on impoverished communities. I can think about when I was young, growing up in Western Pennsylvania and Sharon, Pennsylvania. And you think back to these times as a youth before you were a threat and how the interactions with officers were. Kind, warm, when you were 5, 6, 7, 8. But then 9, 10, 11, 12, things start to change. No longer coming with warm intentions, with positive vibes and energies. It becomes now standoffish, wondering what you're up to, presumed a threat, presumed guilty. And that's one of the most dangerous things in society, is to not know but assume. And this is the frustration that I have, that so many like me, that we have with policing. the presumption of guilt, the lack of protecting and serving. It seems to be about enforcement. We know that it's law enforcement. We feel it. We felt the foot, the knee on our throat for decades. For decades. Now in society, because of social media, because of the advances in technology, and now everybody has one of these, a camera. And so much of what has gone on for centuries is now captured. And it's been captured. You can think back to the 60s when it was dogs being sicked on people. The images, the police brutality, it's part of the fabric of America. But what about the protecting and serving for all? Where's the humanity to see me as a human being first and as a black man second? Because we all bleed the same. We all live, we all die. Because the color of our skin doesn't make us any less than anyone else. So it seems as if our communities are over-policed. It seems that way for others, but it's the reality for Black and brown communities. Over-policing, a lack of protecting and serving. We need more protecting and serving. We need more transparency and accountability. That's the only way we can build trust. That's the only way there won't be any unrest. Because we all see in society right now, 2020 has been a hell of a year. It's reached a boiling point, a tipping point, and it's tipped. And now it's time for a real, true shift. Not just in thinking and ideas, but in action. In how we do things and how we treat one another. In relationship, with empathy and humanity. Because we're all people. We all deserve to be seen and heard. The cries have been coming. They haven't stopped. They're getting louder. The demands are getting louder. And it's what's going to happen? What are we going to do? What is the system going to do? What is policing going to do? Are we going to start to be honest? Because that's the only real way to heal any sickness, is to acknowledge that it exists. We know that it exists. We need those within the system to really look within and be honest, and then extend a hand to your fellow man and woman, and to embark on a new path to shift the paradigm, the principles, and how we think and how we do things. We know that right now is a time of change, of shift. And in this, what is it going to look like? What do you want? What do we want? It's not us versus them. It's us. It's all of us. But we can only begin to shift towards this mindset through acknowledgement. Not for blame, But for healing, there has been a problem within policing. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of PTSD within policing. And we see it play out in society in interactions with citizens. We have to be honest. We have to shed a light. We have to be transparent so that we can be accountable. We need an infrastructure. We need systems that help with this transparency and accountability. And what we've been working on at Pulse Analytics is that a real solution that can build community, that can heal a relationship, that can improve communication so that we're all informed, so that citizens can be empowered, understanding that now there's customer service. Well, this idea has never existed because it's all been about enforcement. Let's go more towards protecting and serving all, treating others the way that we want to be treated, leading with empathy and humanity, because change has to occur. Change is inevitable. Let's embrace the change that is occurring. Let's lean in. The time is now. The time is now. What are you going to do to bring forth change in your world? We're doing our part at Pulse Analytics, building a platform based off of real experiences, of real people, an inclusive, equitable platform that meets the needs of all citizens and that improves policing. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. This is constructive criticism based upon my experience as a Black man and understanding the power of presumed guilt, the presumption of guilt. To be Black in America is to be presumed as a threat. And some people, that may rub you the wrong way, but that is the truth. That is my truth. That's what I've lived. As a professional athlete, sometimes people overlook the fact that you are Black and they forget where you come from because they just see the bright, shiny star of an athlete. But it runs much deeper than that. That's something that I did and not who I am. Who I am is a Black man that has experienced the treatment of being seen as an ordinary Black man and being a star athlete, and it's different. People treat you differently. They seem to forget that you are Black and they just see the athlete. I've had these firsthand encounters where someone doesn't recognize me as Marlin Jackson, the guy who intercepted Tom Brady, All-American at the University of Michigan, the bright, shiny stuff, and they just saw the color of my skin. And they treated me differently. The presumption And so often that's what we've seen in our communities. The call comes in, the officers go out, they show up not thinking I'm here to protect and serve, but rather enforce my will upon them. Now we're going to empower citizens to take action when this occurs, to be transparent, and to be able to hold those who are wrong accountable. And not just to shed a light on the negative, but to shed a light on the positive as well. We want to tell the full story. We want to connect all the dots between the perception and the reality that exists. No more confusion. We want clarity. And that's exactly what Pulse Analytics is going to do. It's going to bring transparency and accountability through relationship. Relationship between police and citizens. Relaying the information to the right resources internally so that they can take action. Take action. That's what we're about at Pulse Analytics, taking action. We're about solutions. I've lived the problem. I know it firsthand. And now I'm doing my part, and I ask that you do yours. Support Pulse Analytics in this paradigm shift that is occurring and that we have decided to take the lead in directing and shaping what the future is going to be in terms of the relationship between citizens and police. It's time. It's time.